Yeah.
That was done on the gut string, but it sounds pretty cool.
Okay, so we have another very special episode of Guitar Stories with none other than Brent Mason. Now, Brent is one of my personal favorite guitarists of all time, so it just really meant a lot getting to go over there, talk to him about his 67 Tele, which I've spent my whole life thinking it was a 68, and getting to meet his lovely wife, see all the cool stuff that he had, and just talk to him a little bit, you know? So I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. If you would, check out Brent's Instagram. He does something really cool called Tales from the Office. As soon as you see it, you'll love it. His website, get his album Hotwired, check out his signature Fender. We kind of touch base on all of this stuff, but check it all out. And if you're not too worn out, hit the subscribe button. Come back here. I got 2 more episodes recorded so far and a few more guitar stories on the way. So without further ado, Mr. Brent Mason. If you're good to go, I mean...
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Well, I mean, thanks for doing the video at all, Brent. I really do appreciate it. And so this is this is the Telecaster.
This is the one, right.
It's the Tele.
Which looks pretty similar to the custom shop one.
Yeah.
Sometimes I grab the wrong one.
Do you really?
Yeah. This whole thing over here. Same old, smudges and...
isn't that crazy?
Scathed up the same. Everything's,
the same.
Mirrored from this.
Yeah, we'll have to... you want to do like a A-B comparison here in a minute between the two of them?
Yeah, sure. Yes. So this is the baby right here. This is the original one.
So we were just talking about this. It's a 67.
It's a 67. Birthed in 1967, November of 67 was created.
So all these years I've been wanting a 68.
Yeah, I've been saying 68 for 40 plus years until it got torn apart and put under the microscope. I went, well, shit, I'm wrong.
But when did you get it exactly?
I got it in 82, well, 83. 83. And I came to Nashville with one of those, those Hagstrom Swedes?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody had that. Who played a Hagstrom Swede? I know Bob Seger had one.
I was saying,
but there's a dude that had one in a band or something. A pretty well-known band, but I can't recall. Look it up. Google it, guys.
Yeah.
And let me know.
I'll put a picture up of the guitar.
Or let Robert know.
See it. Yeah.
I want to give you Robert's phone number. Call him. No.
Do the address. You drop by anytime you want.
Right. Here's his address. No. Anyway. Yeah, so I had this guitar. I was playing with a Don Kelly band. Everybody has Don Kelly stories, from the Stagecoach or playing on Broadway, Don. I was probably I'd say the original guitar player. Started with him, the Don Kelly band. We played on Murfreesboro Road in an old rundown hotel lounge called Stagecoach, originally a smaller place than the big place we moved to. But Don said, you got to get rid of that Hagstrom. You can't be playing that in Nashville. I go, what? And it sounded good. It was pretty versatile. It's a good guitar, so don't think I'm making fun of it at all. So we went to Tusculum Music, which was East Nashville. Mm-hmm. First we ate at El Chico's Mexican place. That was his favorite place to eat on Murfreesboro Road in Nashville. And we saw these guitars hanging up there. This one, which, just was a straight up Tele. Yeah. Somebody had took the coat off of it and was going to repaint it. They primer coated it with car paint or whatever, car primer, and went, nah, I'm going to trade it in. And hung it up like that. just had the standard pickups in it, you know, which I don't know what they were at the time, just the ones that were with it when it was built, made. And so Don bought this one. I bought a butterscotch Tele, and we got to the gig, we started playing them, and I went, I kind of wish I'd have bought that one, which was this one he had bought. And he goes, that's fine, we'll just trade. So we traded, you know, because he didn't care. He trades them in every month, you know, He gets something else, Don does. And that isn't his story, but I said, Don, that's the story. He goes, that ain't the story. I've traded in a bass for that. And I go, I don't think so, you know. So we got discrepancy on stories, but this is the story. This is the right one that that I know of. I took this, we traded, you know, and then later on, I've done a lot of things to it, you know. There was this guitar player that passed away. His name was Sid Hudson. He lived in West Virginia, great jazz and country player. He had put a third pickup in the middle one time, and I always thought that was a cool idea. So I took this one and took it to Joe Glazer, and I had him put a middle pick, you know, a third pickup on there, but we had a little wiring scheme that he had come up with, and we tried it. So this has a separate volume for the middle. Totally, if you move that away, it's just like a standard Tele.
Okay.
But we put a, you know, where you can, supposedly made it Strat sounding, yeah. You know, not bad. It kind of lost its volume a little bit, so I don't use it full on as a Strat sound because it doesn't quite get there now. But so I ended up using it more as an EQ kind of thing, where it kind of, you know, would like blend it in a little bit with the volume. Find the sweet spot. You know, till it was. That's full on. So when you start to turn it in a little bit, it kind of takes that offensive treble high end out of it, you know.
Right.
So that's the wiring to it, just the volume for this, and you can bleed it in with any setting, you know. It'll combine with the front pickup. The middle, that's all of them. Back, then it's kind of like out of phase Strat, you know. That's how it was created. It got to this point. And then all the adventures it's been through.
So
aside to that.
Yeah, so what did you trade, Don? What was the one you had before this? Because, I mean...
I had that Hagstrom, Swede.
The Hagstrom? But
before this.
Before that? Well, and then you had that Tele you traded, you and Don...
Oh, that trade.
Yeah.
I don't even call that an authentic trade. That was just like, give me that one.
What stuck out on this one to you? Do you remember, like, why?
What's that now? Say it again.
What kind of jumped out at you that made you want that one after you had
I don't know. I just
one?
played it, and it sounded more, it had a thicker sound to it, a woodier sound to it, because because that all that lacquer was taken off of it. They were going to repaint it, so there's nothing on it. It stayed that way. I've never refinished it or anything. So it has a real fat, woody sound to it. That's because cool. This is a Southern Ash, this Tele, and a Southern Ash thing, you know, it's perforated because came out of the swamp and the water and dried, you know, the wood. Right. So it gave it an acoustic quality more than some other ones. And of course, when you slap finish and lacquer on a guitar, it starts to sound sluggish. It takes that natural wood sound away. Even though it's solid body, it really adds to the sound. So that one has the maple cap on the neck, right? Which I wonder there's so many cool little things about that particular Telecaster that probably drew you to it. I mean, who knows? Yeah, the neck's great. 60s neck, yeah. So this is the main guitar that you used. All the sessions we've heard forever. Well, I mean, I've got a lot of the guitars I've played, but this one's the well-noted one, for any kind of, got started out you know, Alan Jackson, Brooks and Dunn, all that stuff. Those Joe Diffie's, those remakes of, you know, Pickup Truck was this, you know.
That's interesting.
That one that, you know, Post Malone, those guys redid.
Yeah.
I mean, that was us playing. That was put the vocals on the tracks. But what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh no. That was where you played it is a different spot where I learned it at. I'm like,
Oh, you know it?
I'm not very well, but
yeah. I haven't worked. Somebody played it exactly. I said, show me that again.
yeah.
I came up with it. I was just bored. It's the 7 note
Yeah.
is in it.
It's hard to play.
I think I played it.
You played it there.
I don't know.
Wow. And the little bend that you throw.
Yeah, the little
thing.
The blue note.
It messes with you.
Yeah.
I don't
It's real staccato.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, that's one of the mini hook licks, of course. You know, Sad Chattahoochee, all that stuff.
Well, and you played the main hook on Shania Twain, didn't you? The
yeah, Dan Huff and myself doubled a lot of those licks
Did you?
together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were,
That's
we
cool.
played on those things together, you know, and
Yeah.
he would play some solos, and I played, you know, a lot of the solos. And what's the song she was in the desert and singing?
I know what
Sorry.
I know the song you're talking about though. I'll put it up on the screen. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm
but
not as
anyway,
versed in
that
Shania.
was a solo I played because Mutt Lang was known to just, you know, work on a intro or a solo for the whole day.
Yeah.
And sort of like, we would always wonder, is he going to like this one? No, you know, you've heard those stories from Dan and a lot of guys. And there was one on that song I'm trying to think of, and you'll look it up.
Yeah.
You guys, I played the solo, was a first take on the solo. I go, well, he'll never like that because, you know, we're going to have to do about 50 more of those. And he goes, I really love that solo. I think we're going to hang on to that. That's going to be the solo. And I go, really? And we were going, wow.
Was that like high five moment?
And I think we started something, man. All our solos, you know, Dan, me, whoever played, you know, he's going to keep them. And no, that was just a one-off. We got lucky, Tom.
Oh man. Yeah, but how often were your solos, especially with this guitar, like Alan Jackson? I don't even know their name. Like, were a lot of them first, second take?
Yeah.
Solos? Yeah.
Yeah. They were a lot of them were first or second takes.
Yeah.
But if I remember that thing where I had all that.
Yeah.
I had that kind of. At lunchtime, I thought I'm getting really tired of my cliched playing, you know. I think I gotta think of some whacked out lick to make it. I gotta put something new in here. So they were eating lunch. Everybody took a break before we cut that song, and I was in there trying to come up with some crazy idea to put that. Ouch! That's too sharp. I hate treble. I like warmth, you know. That kind of thing, you know, where I was like double stopping. Of course, I had to abandon it as I got down here, you know, but the first and second string and third could stay into it, see. Of course, like that all. You hear that stuff all the time. So this was more. You had all that kind of, but that was on the second solo, so that was more worked out. The first solo I did, I played it. I think it was we cut the song about 3 or 4 times before we settled on the track, and I think the third time I played it, I had the solo.
Yeah.
It was the best one, and the only thing that I wanted to do was I went to the wrong chord at the end of it. It was supposed to go back to the E, and I went to a 4 chord.
Yeah.
And I thought, shit, we just got to fix that one because I'll never play a good. So we just was like, instead of going, I punched in on the last note just to make it go to the correct chord. So 99.99% of it was, what I played on the go down. So it was, and those are usually the best solos. The ones you feel and you have the passion for when you jump into it.
The fires.
And then they go, why don't you want to put, I said, give me another, we didn't have playlists back then because it was all analog recording. So I said, let me have another pass or whatever. So they were that on that song, like, the first or the second or third take, some on the track and just maybe punched in. It wasn't as easy to punch in on the analog thing,
Was that cutting tape and everything to
get
in there?
Yeah, it was cut with tape. It was before digital.
Because that song came out.
I think that was.
Was it 94?
Yeah, something like 94.
Something around that time.
Yeah, it was just about on the cusp of everything going, digital.
Yeah.
It was, they would just use it for editing and stuff like that at that point. But
so what was your main? So once you kind of started doing more of the session stuff, what was your main rig? Because you had the rack?
Well, I had the rack.
Initially?
The rack days. Brent Rowan, who was a great guitar player, was before me. He came to Nashville. He was playing on lots of records. He had a rack that he was kind of trying to implement some of the LA tones, into the country thing. He was, Dan Huff, of course. Dan had rack,
Yeah.
And,
Dan probably wasn't out here yet, though, was he? Was he still in LA?
No, he wasn't here yet. So I was just trying to get on board and do, with everybody else. So I bought, everybody Eventides and, Dimension Ds, and we were, for the chorus expansion kind of thing, for that wide chorusy sound, all that.
So is that Watermelon Crawl? Would have been...
Watermelon Crawl, I don't think was...
Was that rack days or...
All those, choruses.
That's chorusy.
All that sound,
that...
With delays and all that stuff, So that was all that dreamy kind of delay, bells and whistles was coming in,
right.
And I think Brent Rowan got that from like Michael Landau and stuff, all those guys. Dan was, doing some stuff too with all his records he was playing on.
Yeah.
So I went that direction too for a good bit. The only thing I didn't like about the direct thing was that it just gave me the creeps trying to play country with it and twang, with it. It just didn't, it sounded too pretty and you couldn't really, the technology wasn't up state of the art at that time, for digital stuff. And they were just trying to emulate speaker sounds. They would,
I gotcha.
With the Boogie Pros and stuff like that, preamps. That's what we were using.
Okay. And there's a bounce.
Like on that Brooks and Dunn, that
Neon Moon. That was all
Neon Moon.
direct?
That was on a Boogie Pro, on a Boogie. I guess what they call it, Boogie preamp. Had the graphic, sliders on it and stuff. And I used just like a Celestion 30 or something. It sounded just like a twin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott Hendricks recorded that, and that was not a Fender. But so what we went in to do, I thought Dwight Yoakam, Pete Anderson was doing great stuff. I like that rawness that Pete was doing.
Yeah.
So I thought we got to do that here in Nashville. So I grabbed my old Smoky beat up Fender amps and took them into the studio. And we did Boot Scootin' Boogie, Boot Scootin' Boogie.
I was going to say, that wasn't direct, was it?
No.
I was going to say, there's no way.
In fact, I drug a twin in her, and then I had a deluxe blackface and an old 65 twin. And I remember Scott Hendricks, and I have to laugh. He would laugh about this too. He was saying, it's noisy. And I went, yeah?
It sounds like...
What's your point? I thought that was so cool when it had, if it had a buzz, it was coming from the amp, I would go, like guys would, want to get feedback. That's what I was doing with the buzz. I said, hold on, don't, it's buzzing. I love that.
Yeah.
The guys in the studio, no, we can't have that buzz. I go, it confused me because when I was a kid, I used to wait for like hand sounds of sliding. And,
Yeah, you love that stuff.
hey, listen to the amp. George Harrison's amp's buzzing right there. You have to try to, we have to, you want to try to do the same thing with all the noises and stuff. But anyway, so at that point, I was bringing in old amps.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really cool. Yeah.
And we were back to mic and amps. When I first came to Nashville, that's what I was doing anyway. I think I had 2 deluxes I set up stereo.
Oh, okay.
And was doing stereo, but they were amps, and I always liked the sound better. But again, when we were doing that direct thing, my eyeballs would be hanging out my eye sockets going home after trying to make that thing, trying to make it sound like an amp. I go, this shit's got to stop, man. Yeah. So I said, then, like I said, Pete Anderson, testosterone and crazy, whacked out, playing and stuff. Was a great player. So, it kind of inspired me to do some stuff in Nashville. Of course, I always loved Albert Lee's sounds on records, Emmylou Harris and the Hot Band and all that stuff. So, Merle Haggard, James Burton, all those guys, And Reggie was like me. He was my predecessor, Reggie. I loved him. I think he's the all-time best session player by far.
Incredible.
Well, oh yeah, nothing short of incredible. He hated playing direct, so a lot of times he started up playing where he had his amp just behind him, and he played. I could never play with my amp because I played too loud.
Yeah.
I'd have to have my headphones up on nosebleed to get to have the amp, to drown out the loudness of the amp, which I couldn't do. I wouldn't have hearing, and I don't. Yeah. It's a little loss in the left ear. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he played, and he had a pretty good, cool sound on the direct sounds for the, Jimmy Bowen sessions.
Yeah, Reggie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like me. He was trying to dial in something that sounded like a Fender amp or something, like a Vox.
Yeah.
It was hard to get like a Vox sound or a distorted sound that was good, or a little edge sound to it, because it was direct.
Just too clean.
Too clean.
Yeah. This has always been your main guitar. What was, if you can think about it, was like the second guitar that you used a lot? Because this one is kind of what the spotlight's always been on. But
well, I bring in all right, let's see here. A lot of my guitars in the studio, It's always good to bring in like a Les Paul or something. A gold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's deluxe.
Or that's early 70s.
Yeah. Is that what that
I think I got that from Tom, from Book, I think. His guitars are all over town, aren't they?
I mean, I've got a Firebird from him. So.
335, a Strat. That's a standard reissue. But so you bring this is like a 68, I think. Oh, burst. You'd always have those for some smooth stuff. Yeah, they sound pretty good. Oh yeah. Also play good for jazz, playing the. No delay though, not for jazz. Yeah. So nice warm sound. Yeah, so this.
That's cool. Is that something when you recorded?
That wasn't the what. I have another 335 that was in the Flood.
Oh.
This one's just. I didn't play this. Back then, I had a red one, and it was in that Nashville Flood years ago.
Yeah. Okay. It's just ruined.
No.
Oh, you saved it.
No. In fact, I took it to Joe Glazer, and he saved it.
Oh, man.
He methodically dried out the pickups, and the pickups were good.
Wow.
It just has like streaks in it from all that river water and diesel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rule of thumb, like all that kind of stuff.
What's that now? Hot wired.
Hot wired, like the rule of thumb.
Oh yeah, that was a gut string.
Was it? Okay. It didn't sound like a 335, but.
Yeah. So this is the reissue. Isn't it? No. I was playing the reissue. Or was it? No, I had to strap it. See how confusing it is? I'm confused.
I mean, they really put in the time to.
This is the old one.
This is it.
Yeah, but
I don't even know. Like looking at them.
yeah. So that thing was it. When I play it live, I play with electric. So I had that. Always got to change a little EQ. It's just a slight bit of delay I like to hear on.
And there, bounce to it.
Just almost say a verb kind of.
Yeah.
So, but that was done on the gut stream, but it sounds pretty cool to do it on electric,
Yeah.
So I always play the Tele, and I always kind of take the volume down about quarter of the way.
Yeah.
Clean it up a little bit, and take away that. You get that kind of saturated low end with this. This pickup's pretty hot. Well, with that amp, it's this. So you back it off so that way. Yeah, it's got a nice testosterone.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
Muscle.
So then, what was your favorite rig? Is it kind of your current
well, I
rig,
ended up now I use it like a 67 Deluxe, a lot of blackface. I might use that or the 50 Bassman, the 50-watt Bassman, the blackface one, which is a 67 with a speaker like vintage 30s.
Yeah.
But I'm really using that Deluxe a lot.
Really? No Princeton? That seems to be everywhere I turn is
the Princeton?
Princeton nowadays.
Yeah, that's a good amp.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I never was a Princeton guy.
Really? That's
I always liked just a little bit of, I liked the Princeton tone, but it was kind of there in your face, a little
narrow,
small
yeah.
sometimes. You just sit down. But they used them all the time back on records, Larry Carlton, all those guys, some of those guys used Princetons, and they sound great with the distorted, putting some pedals into it. But I always used the Deluxe.
Yeah.
Or a blackface twin or a blackface Deluxe. And that's what I use a lot on these country records here lately is that Deluxe. Then I had a matchless too. Matchless, a dual channel 30 or whatever you call this thing.
Yeah.
Matchless. I don't use it as much anymore, but it's got a cool sound. Boxy kind of sound.
Yeah.
But I'll use this. I mean, you can't see. This is just my pedal boards are in the cartage going to be. So I got a larger pedal board, like this, and then I got a medium one. This is the small one I just set up here. So
yeah,
just your basic effects, pedals on this one.
Yeah,
but I always loved the Deluxe Memory Man. This here. I won't lift it up. I won't move it.
I'll get B-roll and kind of overlay it.
Yeah, I love this 1100 Deluxe Memory Man Electro Harmonics thing because it's got a cool gains thing on it, and it sounds like it's really cool when you turn it up. It sounds like you're taxing the amp, and you are. But I always love the clean boost on this Electro Harmonics Memory Man. It has a great clean boost. It says gain. It's pretty sweet, it just really has a. But this game.
That sounds really. That's
It's really cool. It's a memory, man.
That's great.
Now, see it's great with the depth and the depth and the rate thing's pretty sweet too.
Yeah.
Yes, I use that. I think on when I did the song. That was the stretcher there.
Yeah.
So. I need a drummer.
Yeah.
Right here. Now,
Look
a lot of times I never could get that, so I just went, which is fine, but I had to have that polytone blend, you know. And then, of course, it went out of that sound, and I use an EVT for that. What was it, the PV version of Eddie Van Halen, just for that intro.
Really? That's cool.
You know, that whole whatever. Then I had to go back to the twang then real fast.
You got right. You
know, I had to.
That lick always.
Whatever. Just a taste. But I used to have the Bradshaw, thing, the program stuff, and I sold that to Clint Black.
Oh, really? What does he want with that?
Well, he wanted it really bad. I said, I couldn't wait to get rid of it. I loved it for a while. I mean, I just wanted to try to kind of minimalize, down.
Right.
Everything was getting too high tech. I wanted to go low tech a little bit, back to the, stomp boxes and the amp, stuff like that.
So has there ever been a time that you have not used, your Tele? Like, did you kind of get away from it at one point, or has it always just kind of been
it's still, when I go in and get a sound, when I get set up and everything, the first guitar I grab is this to get sound. Just hit a big E and just say, I go, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the rockers I always had a laugh. They go, yeah. That's how they get the tone, right?
It's only funny because that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's just you have to set that push and that blow in, snap and stuff.
It gives you the bounce that you want to hear out of the note.
No chords, just that. Okay. There we go.
We're only gonna play 3 chords anyway, so
right.
That's kind of.
Yeah, right. Oh, nice. There you go.
Like the world exclusive. Brent Mason goes metal. This is what we've been waiting on.
It's what the kids are doing now.
The kids are doing. Hey, palm mutes.
Kids country.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's not far off from hard rock nowadays.
I find myself using Bukovac's little phrases now. It's like kids country. I'm in there playing. But
that's cool.
I like what he's doing on his thing. I mean, it's like he's such a character, personality that's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, so obviously you had this guitar for a long time, and then a couple years ago, Fender finally, into all of us like yelling for Fender to do it, they made
all of a sudden the stars lined up, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because we had the Valley Arts thing, we had and then I had a whole different other guitar with PRS with Paul.
I remember that.
And that's a good guitar. I really still like that guitar, but we parted ways on that. amicably. But then Fender offered me this deal, and it was a pretty sweet deal, you know. And I thought, who would want this ugly piece of crap, you know?
Oh, there's a lot of us.
And all of a sudden, you know, they were saying that it was one a certain amount of time. It was one of the best selling ones I had. John Mayer wanted one, and he said, "Can I get one of those?" I said, "I think you can get one if you want." So I sent one, and he's using it all the time. He said, "Yeah, I used that on my new album." And I said, "Well, can you send me one of your Strat? You know,
the Silver Skies." So that's what that is over there.
Yeah, the gray one. I said, "Give me that tone you had on Continuum." He goes, "Yeah, that's what it'll do. I'll get you one." I said, "That's whatever, you know."
That's cool.
I said, "Whatever you used on that album, make it sound like that."
So this is what we've been hearing is the real 67.
Yeah.
68.
Now I'll get the other one.
Yeah, and let's just see the other one.
Now it might have dead strings. I should have put strings on. Now this is the custom shop one.
Also,
that one in there is actually one. The other one's in cartage, so I had a brand new one that really hadn't even been broken in yet. I was going to show you what the.
Yeah, I haven't seen one in person.
Yeah.
All the stores I've went
to. That's the production model right there. It looks like a new one.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting the full treatment. We got the real one, the custom shop, and the production.
Yes. So it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. Oh, it's not on. You know, the front pickup on this thing almost sounds better than the old one. It's a Seymour. So it's pretty nice. It's got a nice. It's got a nice airy sweetness to it.
Sounds great. So, is it okay if we see the production one?
Yeah. Oh, let's look at it.
Yeah. Just to kind of get the full trifecta of them.
Yeah, right.
So again, I remember That's the, okay. I see the custom shop logo on.
Yeah,
that
see? Feels like there's one in there. Let's see, kids. Let's open it up and look.
What's behind door number
It's
2?
gone. No. It's stolen, kid. Some bad man came in and stole it. No, it's in there. It's
There seems to be.
Look, it's brand new.
Look at I was like new.
Look at that. It's Christmas, dude. Now that's total the middle pickup there. Tune it up.
It comes with the B bender and everything.
Yeah, there's B. Yeah, right. There's a B bender in there.
What made you?
That's how
you make them look cool.
That's how you make them good. Beat them up. I got a good story on that. I just one story comes to mind that Tele. I was playing at Stagecoach Lounge and they just graveled the parking lot. Just piles of fresh gravel.
Yeah.
I was carrying my guitar on my back in a case like that. No, not on my back. That's right. I was just carrying it in the case. Propped it up on the back side of my Blazer. I had a Chevy Blazer.
Mm-hmm.
And then some guy started talking to me. We finished the conversation. I said, yeah, man, cool. That's good to see you. All right. I got in there and I backed up. I forgot I had propped it up, backed over the thing.
Oh, no.
And I went, my heart just sank. Oh, man. I went out. The case was totally crushed.
Oh.
I looked in. The guitar was fine.
Oh, no.
It had enough, absorption in that fresh covered gravel that it screwed the case up, but the guitar was fine. I thought, my God, come on. There is a God. There is a God up there.
So did you ever mess around with G benders at all, or?
I never wanted to get too deep into the G bending thing. Mm-hmm. It's just not really my style.
Or no double benders or anything like that, like the.
I don't know, Brad Paisley and Jimmy Olander, they're, champs at it.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, I set mine really, I gave it a lot of tension because I noticed some guys have it so loose, the tension's real light. And as you can play and hear this.
Oh, you get a warble.
Yeah, you got to stand like a statue to. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I'll tell you one stupid thing I did. One out of the many. I put a Kaler tailpiece on that original Tele.
Oh, why?
So I could do, Huff and I were playing together a lot of stuff, and I thought, he's got that, we love Jeff Beck. We both, I love Jeff Beck. He loves Jeff Beck. Who don't? And I go, man, I think I'll get that, and then I'll have that thing, like Dan was doing, some cool stuff instead of doing this shit all the time, So I put one in, and it just took the life out of that guitar. I go, why did I do that? I played it on the American Music Shop for a while, and it just sucked the sustain and tone right out because they had to, modify it, and to put that tailpiece in. So I had Joe pull it out of there and fill it back up and put the standard tail piece on it.
Just brought it back.
What was the biggest mistake I ever made on this?
Oh man,
on that thing?
I don't think I've ever heard that story. About that.
I don't know. That's that happened. I don't know if I've told that or not.
Yeah.
That was a no on the Tele. I don't really travel with that anymore with the original. It's just too scary. It makes me nervous.
I mean,
so I take this one, which is the custom shop one, and it sounds good. We played that one.
So when we originally met at the Woodshed, Andy Woods thing, did you take the real one with you then, or was that the custom shop?
I didn't take the real one. I took the custom.
Really?
Shop
Okay.
One. Yeah.
Well, then this is even more exciting.
Yeah,
for me because
I get worried, when I take that somewhere. I hate to even. I'm in the studio with it all the time.
I'll ask you one final question about it.
Yeah.
Is how many times has it been refretted?
Oh, man, you know, dozens.
Really? Does it still have? You still have nickel frets, or did you eventually go to stainless to kind of save it?
Nickel.
It's still nickel.
Yeah. Still nickel.
Yeah.
Yeah, nickel.
Do you think you'll go to stainless? Because I mean, you can only refret them so many times, can't you? And then,
Yeah, you could. I might try it on the next one. You know, doing the stainless steel.
Stainless. And do you get all that done with Nick and Joe?
Joe, yeah. Nick and Joe.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, thank you so much for sharing all that stuff with us. And then I'll link your website and Instagram and all that stuff down below. And then we'll all keep our fingers crossed for a Brent Mason YouTube channel at some point.
Yeah. You know, it could be. Very well could be.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, Brent.